I am KillerBlue195, not joined by XL Ryan this week, he's squatting in a field somewhere. Instead, I have our lovely Dutch friend IRO Dylan, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Iro Dylan. I am a co-commentator usually, and I'm happy to be here with Killer today to commentate over this Sprint Cup Championship.
So, of course, we're going to go straight into the race. So we don't have any qualifying to get our bearings. But it's Monaco, it's night, so I have no idea how many cars are going to finish. 3, 4? What are we thinking?
I mean, it is a 25% race, so the likelihood of some people finishing is, of course, slightly higher. But I do expect with a 25% race, people will be a little bit more impatient with their moves. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the race pans out. Of course, our championship leaders are starting at the back of the grid, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can make moves in the streets of Monaco.
Penalties are going to be a big issue as well here, of course.
Yeah, of course. If some of those difficult corners like the chicane and I believe the swimming pool section, the swimming pool chicane, it's also incredibly difficult to stay on track and not cut the corner.
Sandevot as well, so let's just take a look at the grid. So we have extra rotational aerodynamics at the back, only 13 drivers, so it looks like a few have skipped out of Monaco. Can't say I blame them, but it means they have less of a challenge getting through to the front, but also Monaco, so narrow, so hard to overtake, kind of negates that. We'll see. With them starting next to each other, really each's aim I suppose will be just to beat the other guy. They won't care too much if they're low down, if they're ahead of each other.
Yeah, I think the tactic here around Monaco is just to stay out of trouble, because they're both starting on medium aerodynamics and extra rotation. So if their main plan is to just stay out of trouble in the first couple of laps and maybe come in, put the soft tyres on and try and make some overtakes on those soft tyres.
Indeed, I'm surprised by how few drivers we've got starting on softs actually. Track position can be very strong in that instant in Monaco. The softs do go off, at least at 50%, but I'm surprised no one at the very front has gone for the softs to try and scamper away a little bit.
Yeah, I don't actually know if the softs have overheating issues around this track. I imagine so, at least that's been the case over the last couple of games, and Britain is going extremely slow to enter the formation lap, and Rapid just overtakes him before starting the race. But what are your predictions for the race?
Honestly, I've got no clue. It's Monaco. Any of the 13 can win this. As Leon gets himself out of shape at Rascasse, he drops all the way to the back. That will not help his confidence for this race.
As we're all lining up to the grid, and it's going to be very interesting to see if everyone can make it safely through lap 1. If you're comfortable with doing the lights, you can
I'll give it a go. So 13 drivers, 20 laps of Monaco. Who is going to come out on top in race 5 here? Bryn on pole, Rappy alongside. Away we go, and it looks like he holds on to it. The Leon getting a little bit squirmish off the line. Everyone's ghosting through Sandevot, but it's Rappy up the hill towards Mazanet, and Bryn going around the inside. Well, he knew if he wanted to win this race he'd have to make that move stick, so he leads. Rappy second, Leon third, Maverick fourth as the timing tower just sorts itself out a little bit. And the two Williams are going wheel to wheel, and he's hit the back of Nuffle. That's wing damage for Philippe. And his teammates through on him as well for good measure. That is not what he needs, especially starting on the mediums. But I think you've just got to take the pain here. You can't afford.
You can't take the softs.
Yeah, you can't afford to make a second stop at all.
And
so
interesting thing to know is extra rotation got ahead of Lyronix in lap 1.
And Rappy's hit the wall as well. Wing damage for Rappy in P2. That's given Bryn the break he needs, and Maverick on those softs will be desperate to get past him now. Sorry, Dylan, you were saying this. Yeah, Rappy dives into the pits.
Ooh, that's interesting. You might have to do a two-stop or go on to the hard tyres, and the hard tyres around here aren't that quick. He opts to go on to the soft tyres, and a lot of people are in. Lyronix is in, Leon is in, Knuffel.
Our soft starters, and Lyronix has had to queue. That is not what he needs at all.
Yeah, and of course with safety cars off, this is going to cost him dearly in the race, and he will have to make up some ground during the race, and it's going to be difficult as he's on the hard tyres as well.
Yeah. So Rappy's gone for softs. He's committed to that 2-stop, probably in the hopes that the guys in front of him will go. As we've got a yellow flag as well. Where's that about? I think Leon must have had some dramas coming out of the pits there. Has he got wing damage? I can't tell, I don't think so, but that first 1.5 laps will be exactly what Bryn's wanted. He's got a 2-second lead, and he looks comfortable. He looks very much in the zone.
And he's on the medium tyres, and the 2 cars behind him are on the soft tyres, and they should technically be closing in on him, but that's not the case as of right now. So Bryn is doing an excellent job of creating a gap to those cars behind him, especially those faster ones, like extra rotation, who is fighting for the championship. And now with Ironics,
Ewan's got through on Mentos. Oh, they've come into the pit, sorry. And Philippe into the pits as well with that wing damage, so clearly he decided he can't do any longer on those tyres.
A lot of people pitting already, only the top 6 haven't pitted this race yet. So, yeah, it really shows that Monaco is such a tricky track to basically get through lap 1 and 2. And now, yeah, extra rotation has actually a big chance
to 6th already.
He can extend his gap on Ironics. He's in 13th as of right now.
So if we look at the positions gained, as you say, extra rotation up 7, Ewan up 7 as well. So Bryn has kept his place. Then the 6 behind him have all improved. As Killer Brent up the inside, Alt Maverick into to back. Is Maverick going to fight that back? No, I think wisely decides he'd rather have a full front wing than second place right there. But yeah, so 2nd to 7th all making gains, and 8th to 13th all struggling at the back. They've all made pit stops as well though, of course, but we've got huge field spread and it's only lap 4. So I'd say look at some battles, but there aren't any right now.
Yeah, and of course Monaco is extremely difficult to overtake. It's quite easy to choose some drivers, but to overtake is incredibly difficult. You really need that overspeed, and you need the EBS, and you can already see a few drivers struggling with their EBS management. A lot of them are below 30% already into the race. It's only 4 laps in, so EBS management is cruising around it. Not a lot of big braking zones around this track, so harvesting EBS is going to be an issue throughout the race.
So I'm not sure where. Sorry, just to change topic, but Ewan Baker has got big wing damage as well, like his teammate, where his teammate opted to pit and he stayed out, and well, he's hanging on to 4th place right now. He's got Shalom behind him and rotation closing in very rapidly behind.
Yeah, it's going to be very crucial for the Haas driver to make this move on Williams driver. They're both fighting for P3 in the championship, I believe. So it is. So Baraka really needs to make this move stick as safely as possible and not pick up wing damage himself, because that will cost him even more. But he has a lot more DRS than Iwan Baker, and now Shalom is closing in up the hill, but it's not going to be close enough into turn 2, unfortunately.
He'll be very aware of the threat from rotation behind as Killer Brent exits the pits just behind Beasley, and Rappy is in the pits again. Not sure what for, unless it's another dose of wing damage. And Leon very, very adrift. Leon's about to get lapped actually by our leader Bryn, who's now 6.7 seconds clear. What the first 5 laps he's had, and Maverick behind him picks up a penalty just to rub salt on his wounds right now as he's slipping back. And Shalom is past Ewan out of the Nouvelle Chicane, or into the Nouvelle Chicane I should say, and now Ewan will be very vulnerable to championship leader, who will be squirming all over the back of his gearbox as Ewan gets a little bit out of shape through the swimming pool. And he pits.
This is good for extra rotation. Now he can creep up to the back of Shalom, and it's essentially in the net podium positions right now, and that is an incredible jump from 13th on the grid, and he's within 6 laps. He's already in 4th place. Everyone behind him basically hitting everyone's going out of the way for him, and he's been doing well, keeping his wing clean throughout the race, and he's looking for a good result.
Him, extra rotation and Bryn, you have to say, are the two standout performers so far. They've had tremendous first few laps, and Rappy's into the pits again for another front wing. Mercedes must be running out of front wings.
I think this is third time in the pits, right? Within 6 laps. I think so. Yeah,
So,
after starting second and being in first for basically one corner, this is not what you want to see from Rappy, but it's very unfortunate. He just has to keep going because he's still able to score some points if he finishes the race. So I imagine he will want to finish the race. He just needs to watch out for our championship or race leader now, who's just behind him on the track.
yeah, and of course, finishing the race is very important because it means he will get that front row start at Spain. Because of course, DNFers finish where they start. Oh, sorry, start where they finish. They do not get the benefit of that reverse grid. So better to finish 3 laps down than to not finish at all, as Bryn has a big slide coming out the hairpin. And I'm wondering, there's nothing visible, but I'm wondering if Maverick behind him does have some wing damage. The gap has gone from, what was it, 6.7 to nearly 10 seconds now in just a few laps, and Barak is all over the back of him. Here we go, down towards the Novo chicane. Oh, I think he was
trying to dummy Alban Maverick, but it didn't work out. And I think Alban Maverick's tires are really starting to wear out at this stage in the race, because he is losing a lot of time to win these couple of laps, and he might have to pop into the pits this race.
Yeah, he is suffering right now. He needs to get those softs off, and he does.
It's a call for Maverick.
I think
where he gets out.
Barak will be delighted about that, because it spares him from rotations clutches just for a little bit longer. Oh, and he is having a front wing change, is Maverick.
Yeah, must have had like wing damage, just a slight tap to the wall, unfortunately. But he's still in a great position actually. Maverick looks like he's going to come out behind Iwan, and yeah, he has those fresh mediums now. Let's see what he can do on those tires.
Yeah, he's got a nice chunk of clear air between himself, Iwan, and Mentos, who has a very big queue behind him now as Jordan forces his way through at turn 1. There's some wing damage there. I'm not sure whose it was. I think it's Mentos.
Yeah, it is Mentos. He does have wing damage, and now he
loses out to turn 2, and there's more wing damage. Oh, that's a big coming together. I can't call blame on that one yet. I'd have to see it again, but Mentos thought he was going to tap Lyranix and spin him around like a pivot there, but then bumps him twice into the hairpin.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate incident, basically. I didn't quite catch who was at fault or whatever, but Lyranix got safely through somehow, some way. I don't know how he did it, but
sorry, just to cut across you, Philippe now having a look at Mentos, and he tries to scare him a little bit. I think he wasn't expecting to pull that move off, but Mentos obliged and left the barn door wide open, and yeah, these guys are struggling like crazy. Mentos looks like he has no front wing at all, almost.
Yeah, I think they might have to try and let each other through, I believe, or Mentos tried to let Philippe through.
Can't tell if Philippe was letting it through or brake testing, or getting brake tested there, sorry.
They're both in the pits now, and I imagine they will go on to maybe mediums. I think mediums might be the best option for those drivers, and Jordan's in the pits as well again.
Tell you who we need to give a shout out to right now is Bracker. He's in second, now he's past Maverick. Remember that gap that was 9.8 seconds? It's now 7.7.
It was 11. It was 11.
Oh, it was 11.
Now it's 7.7.
Pulling away from rotation as well, so... but Bryn's in the pit, so it's very important here and he's getting a new front wing.
He's getting held and front wing change.
That must be why that gap was coming down. Yeah, he's losing so much time here.
Actually take him when he enters the pits. He got held massively. The crew wasn't ready for him when he entered the pits. That is very unfortunate for our net race leader. Now he's came out just in front of Iwan, I think, or Iwan might have a chance up the hill, but no, he safely ran safely through ahead of Iwan Baker. But yeah, that has cost Bryn so much time, and the captain leader, I believe, and it's 19 seconds. I think Shalom might actually overtake him if he pits.
So, just to take stock here at half distance, as you say, he's lost out massively here as Bryn. So, because of the front wing change, he's behind Baraka, he's behind Rotation, who are both, well, might be behind Baraka and Rotation, but he's definitely lost out to Nufflebeezy and Killer Brent, who have both already made stops and are both 10 seconds up the road from him. So, that net lead has completely been wiped out and then some by those early stoppers. The only question for them is, do they have to pit again? Are those tyres going to fade?
Yeah, that's interesting to say, because I don't know how long the medium lasts. I can imagine that those mediums could basically last the entire race. At least they should last the entire race, I believe. That was the case in the last game, but I'm not quite familiar with Monaco in this game. But yeah, it's very interesting. It now has 7 seconds to close up and overtake, which is incredibly difficult around Monaco, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this all pans out. He has 9 laps to catch up and make the overtake, so let's monitor that gap.
So, just to check, let's have a look how old those tyres are. Nufflebeezy pitted lap 1, and Killer Brent pitted lap 4, and of course Bryn pitting on lap 9. But he's doing very well as Bryn. Only one warning. Killer Brent, Nufflebeezy, both in similarly good position. Extra rotation does have a penalty, and Shalom, well, he has 4 warnings, but no penalties apparently.
Yeah, now extra rotations into the pits. He's going to put the soft tyres on. Probably, is he going to come out ahead of Bryn? That's very interesting. I think Bryn will come out ahead.
This is going to be so close.
The final corner right now, and yeah, Bryn's clearly ahead of extra rotation still.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't close at all.
Well, Maverick might actually gain a lot of time here on extra rotation, but he's going to just stop behind him. And yeah, wow, extra rotation is behind Bryn and that is very interesting.
And we've got a yellow flag. Leon is out, but there's no safety cars, so all our drivers will carry on. Leader's just coming up to that now, so we'll try and have a look at what Leon did, and it looks like he just drove straight into the wall there. Very peculiar.
Yeah.
So
maybe we've touched the inside wall of the Newfield chicane, and just this car just went into the barriers. Very unfortunate. He will start 13th the next race. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the benefit of starting on pole next race, which is very unfortunate. Of course, one start on pole, future chances of Baraka's into the pits now, and is he can come out ahead of Bryn? If we look at what happened to extra rotation, he should basically slot in just behind Baker and just in front of extra rotation, but it's going to be interesting to see. And Baraka actually has a very good big stop, and looks like he's going to slot just between the gap between extra rotation and Bryn. He comes out in 4th place and now has fresh soft tyres, 3 laps fresher than Bryn's. It's going to be interesting to see if he can catch up to Bryn and make the move.
Yeah, very much so. And if Nuffle, Beezy and Killer Brent's tyres do go off, not sure whether they will, but if they do, we could see the whole top 4 close up. Nufflebeezy's got tyres that are 12 laps old, Killer Brent has tyres that are 9 laps old, Bryn has tyres that are 4 laps old, and Barak has tyres that are, well, not even 1 lap old, so tyres getting fresher as we go down, so we could just see that top 4 close up a lot. Barak is very much in, well, not striking range, but enough to intimidate Bryn. Just keep him more occupied on behind than ahead. They are catching the guys ahead, but will it be enough? That's the question.
Interesting thing to note is Baraka has a lot more users than
sorry to interrupt you, Mentos has spun on the straight just as he's getting lapped, but I'm not sure what happened there. He must have caught the inside Armco coming out of Anthony Nodes. Sorry Dylan, go on. Oh sorry, Bryn makes a little mistake coming out of turn 1, and Baraka is all over the back of him through turn 2. That is not what he needs. Has he got wing damage? Yes, he has. Bryn has huge front left wing damage.
And now Baraka needs to make this move, not get this move done, but he has to get it done clean, not damage his own wing. This is going to be a crucial stage of the race. As if Baraka gets past, he might have a look to get up and get those two ahead. But yeah, Bryn, oh my god, he's doing so much his wing damage, and it looks like Shalom is going to get past. He uses almost all of his overtake, and now looks around the outside of Nivelshin. Oh, Bryn!
Damage for Baraka, and they... 2 into 1 is never going to go. That was always going to end in tears. Bryn was not going to give that place up, and now extra rotation, you have to be patient.
Now tries to go around the outside. Oh my god, this is so close, and he gets ahead. That is crucial.
Bryn has to concede, but you can see he did not want to give either of those places up. Who can blame him? But Baraka comes into the pits. He had to be patient there. I think Bryn had damage on both sides of his wing, and, well, has he just thrown away a win there?
Yeah, I mean, he tried to go around the outside, and I think he just got squeezed between the wall and Bryn.
Yeah.
At least that's what I saw on my end. Yeah, I imagine Shalom would be pretty mad about what happened there, and yeah, it just basically cost him almost a guaranteed podium at least.
From first glance, it looked poor from Bryn for me. He fought that more than perhaps he was within his rights to, but
the wing damage he had, I mean, around Monaco, it's just always better to concede and just stay safe. Yeah, I mean, I can see why he would fight it, because he is fighting for a podium for Team 1, get that podium finish, but yeah, I mean, it's just a bit impatient from both drivers, basically being too messing around.
And Bryn's retired, he's crashed at the swimming pool. Ooh, that is the way with Monaco. You can have an amazing race, and then it can all go pear-shaped in 2 laps, and it has done here for LR. Bryn, as Alt Maverick crashes as well, we were on board with that. He just caught the Armco at Raskas Antinodes, and it just pivoted him into the wall, and... well, it's good night from him, and it's good night from Bryn. And Ewan Baker, on his 2-stop, suddenly up to 4th place.
Yeah, that is interesting to see. And as well, one thing to note is that Ironics is also in the top 5 right now. Still staying strong and not giving up, and he's in P5, and it's all working out for him as people ahead of him are starting to drop. This is a very good drive from Ironics, to be honest, because he's on the hard times and he's still he's in P5 right now. It's damage limitations, especially after lap 1 when he had to pit, but he's doing an excellent job right now of actually securing some points.
Very much so, and Rappi as well, who I mentioned earlier about just staying in the race for that good grid position, but right now he's up in 7th on a 3-stop strategy, and he's behind, well, I don't think he'll be catching Shalom now he's pitted, but
I imagine Shalom would get past, or maybe Lyronix will fight it, maybe Lyronix will pass, but Shalom is so fast right now. Sets the purple middle sector, and I don't think Lyronix will be able to hold him up much longer, because look how fast those soft tires are compared to those old mediums. As Shalom does get a little bit out of shape, but he uses overtake, closing up to the back of the Mercedes, but he isn't close enough to make a move. And then one sets the fastest lap in the meantime behind him. And this is a very crucial stage for Shalom to get past and stay patient and get the move done cleanly without getting wind damage himself.
I think he's going to look here. Ooh.
Yeah, is fighting it a little bit.
It's insane to see how much more grip and confidence Baraka has on these tyres. I mean, he's fighting for very little right now, but I think he is out for blood.
He is to size up a move on Lyronix, but he is going to dive. Oh my god, that's a deep dive up the inside of Lyronix, and he picks the corner, but he lets Lyronix pass. As believes it was an illegal overtake, and he didn't pick up wing damage. I don't know if Lyronix did, but but no, Lyronix, they both came out unpaid, and yeah, that was a very ambitious move from Shalom. But yeah, he did make the point where he let Lyronix through. It felt like it was an illegal overtake, and now he has a chance to go up the inside of just race, avoid the incident. This is the dangers of racing around Monaco. It's very narrow and difficult to get past, and yeah, we can see this right now with Shalom, who has much fresher tires than Lyronix, and just can't find a way through somehow.
He knows if he's going to make this pass, he has to do it while those tyres are good and fresh. And just, sorry to interrupt, Mentos has spun at the last corner. But
I was about to say that as well, and now
back to Baraka. He needs a great run out of Portier, and I think he's got it. He's got hers, but Lyronix has about the same.
They both have used up so much to attack and defend, and basically equal right now, and they were equal before. Yeah, both had 40%, I believe, a couple of laps ago, and now both basically essentially on zero, and now going to be very difficult for both of them to defend, and Baraka goes deep, just about avoids the rear end of Lyronix, and yeah,
I think it shows more than anything.
It's so easy to close up.
I think it just shows more than anything how much better, or how much more grip that Baraka has than Lyronix, that he can brake that much later, that every corner he's just close to going into the back of him.
Yeah, and he is so close to that. Just can't find a way through. That is around Monaco, unfortunately the case, and yeah.
They say three's a crowd. Rappy is about to make this a crowd as they go side by side. And Baraka, what are you doing looking for a move there? That was never in a month of Sundays going to come off.
And now Rappy is just behind him, and he is
right on
if
this.
something happens between those two drivers, he's going to capitalize on that mistake. And yeah, and it's safe to say, you can look for Bessie.
Baraka's got a huge run here. He's down the outside. Will it work? Lyronix squeezes, but it's fair. He can't get the car slowed down, and again Baraka touches the back of him.
Yeah, Lyronix is fighting this incredibly hard, trying to keep that 5th position and not lose out to his championship rival extra rotation. But yeah, you can just see how much faster those soft tires are after those hard tires. You just can't find a way through. This is reminiscent, basically, Monaco 2019, where Hamilton had to keep Verstappen behind the entire race on much worse tires, and Verstappen just couldn't find a way through. This is basically the exact same that's happening right now in this race, and just sheer grip that Shalom has. You expect him to make a move, but it's just Lyronix places his car perfectly into every corner to defend.
So how old are people's tyres? So Baraka does have the fresher set. I didn't even notice. Nothing. BZ's won the race. This happened last week. Austria missed the end of the race. Apologies, everybody. Nuffle BZ is the winner. Killer Brent in second. Extra rotation third. Ironbacker fourth. Sorry. Lyronix hanging on. Is Baraka going to do a Charles Leclerc dive bomb into Raskas? I don't think he can. No, he wisely decides not today. And the field is so spread out, I don't think penalties will change much the order of things.
We'll see, maybe something changes between P5 and P7, but right now, as you've seen, Lyronix, Shalom, and Rappy finished P5, 6, and 7. But that's a great race from Killer Brent and Nuffle Bassi, just picking up the 1-2 and not picking up damage and just keeping it clean the entire race. And that shows that keeping it clean around Monaco is crucial, and it could always give you good results.
Top two only ones without pens as well, and BZ, shout out, started 9th, but he pitted lap 1 and he took those tyres all the way to the end. Killer Brent 007 in second, extra rotation third from last on the grid. Ironbacker, not sure, fourth. 5th for Lyronix, who held off that late charge from Baraka and Rappy. Baraka's only consolation being fastest lap. Philippe 8th, Jordan JT 9th, and Mentos 10th. He will start on pole. So it's Mentos and Jordan T on the front row from Philippe and Rappi. And, well, rotational aerodynamics aren't starting too far apart again, so we'll have to see how that unfolds. I think it'll be the first race that neither of them's finished in the top two. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's very interesting thing to know, but it's of course a lot more difficult to make moves around Monaco. But they still finished third and fifth, which is quite good from the back of the grid around Monaco, and I'm sure they'll be happy with their points. And we're going to Spain right now, and I think around Spain it's a lot easier to make a move than Monaco. So it's going to be I think both Lyronics and extra rotation will have the opportunities to get through the field. Just being easily, with a long start-finish straight.
Again, I'm not sure if we'll see a mix of strategies as well from soft, medium, soft, hard. I'm not sure actually if this is soft, medium, or if it is a soft, hard for a 25% race. I've got vague memories of my team being soft, hard, but I'm not sure, to be truthful with you.
All I know is that the soft tires around here, they are quick, but they do overheat over a couple of laps, and the medium tires, I think they can go around 15 to 14 laps. I think that's at least in the 50% race, and I think the tire wear in the 50% and 25% race are the same. So I imagine the strategy would be as tough to make.
That would be my guess as well, but you never know. And well, while the grid's set, we have some time to fill. I suppose we could go for a break, but I've got nothing better to do.
Yeah, but just for the Spain race, we have Knuffer Bessie and Killer Prince starting on the back row, of course. Do you think they can make their way up to the field? Because if you look at the championship standings, they are like in the midfield of the standings, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can actually get through the field around here. They did incredibly well around Monaco by keeping it clean, but it's going to be the same thing around Spain.
This is another track as well where it drives very vulnerable to penalties, and they were the two that avoided them around Monaco. So if they do the same again, there's absolutely no reason why they can't pull out a good result, especially when it's much easier to overtake.
Yeah, I mean, you have an insanely long start-finish straight, and the arrest train might actually be a thing around here with that long straight, but with the final sector, if you get a good exit on the final corner, then you might be safe from overtaking. And if drivers like Jordan and Mentos could just get a good run out of the final corner every single lap, then they could keep their position against those faster drivers behind.
There is the issue of Urs as well, which I don't think is particularly kind here. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the tracks where Urs isn't as easily replenished. There's not many heavy braking zones. Turn 1 is 4th gear. The only one really is turn 10. Of course, the second, third gear corners in sector 3 have very short braking zones because it's so twisty. So I don't think we'll see drivers running very low on Urs, I think, in the second race. And if you're at the front of the train, that's going to be very challenging to keep a hold of those positions.
Yeah, especially when DRS is really powerful around this track, especially with Sashim, and because it's just such a long back straight, moves. Even if you're stuck in a DRS chain, people could size up a move. Even if the car ahead does have DRS, you can still have that extra overspeed and make the move stick on them into turn 1.
And the nature of turn 3 and turn 4 and even turn 5 as well is that these battles can very easily go on all lap long around here. It's very wide. There's grip all the way around the width of the track, so you'll see battles fighting it out from turn 1 all the way through to turn 7, where the uphill left-hander, which is also notorious for getting warnings. So I think we could see some really good wheel-to-wheel racing. There's no reason not to expect that. And Sector 3 is a mistake generator as well. Very easy to get that wrong, especially with the high curbs and the elevation changes.
Yeah, the high curbs, they can definitely catch you out. They have caught me out on a couple of occasions in some of my league races, and yeah, it's just a very tricky sector for everyone. It's so technical, and to get it perfect, you really have to focus and just get it right every single time. But if you get it right, it is so satisfying, and yeah, it just hooks up your lap perfectly. But I mean, without qualifying, it's going to be interesting to see, especially with at the start. Just to mention, it's a long way to turn 1. And
I think I'm right in saying it's the second longest run to turn 1 on the calendar after Mexico, and it's the third longest run to the first braking zone after Mexico and Russia.
Yeah, so if you get a good start, you get that slipstream, you could go up from P4 to P1 essentially, and yeah, it's very crucial to get a good start around your position.
Especially, of course, without qualifying, these guys will have practiced somewhat for this race to varying lesser or greater degrees. But ultimately, without having done a lap, I've just done 20 laps of Monaco and probably focusing more on Monaco than Spain if they've done any practice, to then arrive at turn 1 of Spain without having done a lap of that track for however long and just been doing Monaco, it's going to be very easy for see guys going deep into turn 1 and a little bit of shenanigans going on there. I reckon we could see a car or two turned around facing the wrong direction.
Of course, Monaco's way like around Spain and Monaco, it requires us to drive around. To drive around Spain compared to Monaco, it requires a different driving style. You have to attack the curbs more and basically use all the width of the track. And around Monaco, of course, you have to do that, but you have to be wary of the barriers. So some people might drive Monaco quite conservatively, and compared to Spain, if you want to be fast, you really have to be aggressive and take those curves and attack the corners.
And of course, there's a lot of high-speed corners here as well, which you have to attack in a very different way to what you do attack low-speed corners like at Monaco and in Sector 3 here. So it's a different experience having to go straight from tracks which are, at least in terms of Sector 1 and 2 at Spain, polar opposites of each other. I'd certainly struggle if I was driving first time I arrive at turn 1, turn 2, turn 4. Very weird corners in general anyway.
Especially after Monaco, and yeah, I think this game has a feature, I believe, where around street circuits there's less grip than around basically normal racing circuits. So you could see people getting caught out by that as well. Because of course, this around Spain, there's a lot. I guess you can just feel through your wheel or through your pad. There's more grip around Spain than there is around Monaco, even though you drive with higher downforce levels around Monaco. So yeah, that could be an interesting thing that could catch some people out.
Very much so, and I was saying about not having experience, formation lap is going to be the only thing they have to get their eye in, so I wonder if we could see quite a fast formation lap. I know that's a not very exciting thing to predict, but could see the leaders just push a little bit more. I certainly would if I was leading this one round.
Yeah, and especially with if some people start on the medium tires, they want to warm up those tires and get them in the right temperature, and it seems that only Shalom and Lyronics opted to go for the medium tires to start the race. They might
I'm a
go
little
on
bit surprised at that one.
Yeah, they could go on to at least lap 10 or 11 maybe, and then put on those soft tires and be extremely fast. But those medium tires are incredibly consistent compared to those soft tires. Those soft tires might actually overheat within 3 or 4 laps, I believe, and then the medium tires should be faster. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, these drivers are going to have to be, if temps do play a factor, these guys are going to have to be very smooth with their inputs, particularly around the high-low corners, turn 3, turn 4, turn 9, and turn 12. They're going to just have to make sure they're nice and smooth, smooth in, smooth out. It is going to favour the wheel guys a little bit in terms of temps. I'm not sure on outright speed, but Philippe almost spends his car into the wall there.
Yeah, and the drivers are warming up their tires, and it's going to be interesting to see if Shalom and Lyronix could keep the position off the line, because those soft runners behind are probably incredibly eager to make a move on them. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can keep the position throughout lap 1 and 2, if they warm the tires well enough, and yeah, keep the position. I'm excited to start this race.
Me too. If Monaco's anything to go by, I think I said we might see some shenanigans here.
Drivers are lining up to the grid now, and yeah, what are your predictions, especially after race 1? What are your predictions for the top 3?
Extra rotation, Lyronix first, rotation second, and Baraka third. It's hard to look past the 2 championship leaders.
To be honest, I think it's a good chance of that happening.
So 3 lights, 4, 5. Away we go. Good start from Mentos. It looked like everyone's just trying to get in that slipstream down to turn 1. Rappy looks particularly interested, and Philippe round the outside. Is anyone going to go for a lunge? Jordan nearly ran into the back of Mentos, but they keep it clean.
Rappy and Lyronix are battling for P5 now. Lyronix gets a great exit and ahead as well. Oh my god, Lyronix almost has to go off track.
Baraki's the cork in a bottle for all of them. He got a horrible run onto turn 3. Lyronix had to get out of it. And now he goes down the inside into turn 5. He knows if he wants to win this race, he's got to get past the other medium runner as soon as he can, but...
Beautiful Bessie with an interesting move around the outside of turn 7 and gets past Lyronix. Oh my god, I think Iwan almost spun out of turn 9. But Mentos has a great size. They're already 1 second ahead.
Iwan Baker going... He sends a lunge on Lyronix. Lyronix has gone from looking at challenging for 5th. He's now down to 8th.
And Philippe spun from P3, I believe. That's incredibly unfortunate. And now Rappy's all over the back of Jordan. Jordan makes mistakes to the chicane. And it's all popping off right now. And Iwan looking up the back of beautiful Bessie, and Rappy looking to make a move on Jordan.
And here goes Rappy. Pulls out very late. But
Jordan around the outside.
I don't think Rappy came up with that. It was enough conviction. He needed to stamp his foot on the brake and say that's mine. But he runs around the outside, and Shalom now has a run at turn 4. Easy move there. Rappy, like Lyronix, he's gone from challenging a place to losing them, and now Iwan Baker's looking around the outside of turn 5. A little bit of contact there as well.
Jordan's already out of ERS after 1 lap of the race, so he's going to struggle keeping Baraka behind. And Rappy's, the timings are all over the place right now. But Iwan is looking for a move on Rappy, and Rappy has left front end plate damage, unfortunately. And Iwan gets past.
Nufflebeast is going to follow him through immediately there, so both Mercedes losing out on these first couple of laps, and Lyronix goes down the inside of Rappy now. 3 places in 3 corners for the Mercedes driver, as rotation picks on penalty, down in 11th place. Haven't even mentioned him, but he's had an awful start to this race, from 8th on the grid.
Yeah, and Rappy now enters the pits, and he's probably going to put on the medium tyres and go to the end on those tyres. Yeah, that's a great start from Mentos. He's 2 seconds ahead of Jordan, and Baraka's in a great position now on those medium tyres as well. And yeah, he has two cars between him and Lyronix, and now Felipe spun again into the same corner in the third sector. Unfortunately, that brings out a yellow flag.
I wonder if he's going to come into the pits and retire. There's no safety cars, and he is a long, long way back.
Yeah, if he does finish the race, he will secure some points.
Oh, a spin for Maverick. Deja vu from Monaco there, and he's sent to the back.
Yeah, both Felipe's crashed into the pit lane when he tried to enter the pit lane. He crashed into the pit lane, unfortunately, and he won't pick up points this race, unfortunately. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now I think now's the time that those medium tires might be faster than those overheating soft. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Lyronix can make some moves on Knuffel Bessie and Iron Baker, and if Baraka can get past Jordan. And Jordan is really slow to this middle or final sector chicane. Baraka gets a good exit, has the DRS, uses his overtake. Looks like it's going to be easy. Jordan does fight it though.
It's vital he gets past on the mediums. He needs this track position. He needs to go long on these mediums to make the strategy work. And that was textbook, I have to say.
And Knuffel Bessie had a look up around the outside of Iron Bacon, and it hasn't worked out as of right now. But interesting to notice, Knuffel Bessie is already on 20% ERS, and Iwan is on 50. So it's going to be very difficult for him to overtake when Iron Baker and Lyronix behind him is on 70. So it's going to be crucial for Knuffel Bessie to keep ahead of Lyronix and maybe stick behind Iron Baker and manage his ERS a little bit better. As Lyronix is now close to the back, but Iwan is just sticking ahead, and he has DRS on Jordan now. So Jordan is the car who doesn't have DRS, and I think Shalom is catching Mentos ahead. So Shalom is in an excellent position to win this race on those medium tires. He's catching the net race leader ahead, and Iron Baker is closing up so much to Jordan in the third sector. Jordan just doesn't have that confidence that Iron Baker has, and Jordan enters the pits from third place.
Yeah, Lyronix as well, I should say. I think he'll be getting very frustrated with this. He's on the other guy on the mediums with Baraka. He's losing out big time. He'll be hoping these guys pit as soon as possible, because I don't think he's going to get through two of them in one lap. Surprised none of the other soft guys have pitted, just Jordan and Maverick and Rappy. But of course, Rappy had wing damages. Maverick retires actually. So. Yeah, I'm surprised we've not seen more guys go for an early stop, whether onto hards or mediums, just to get rid of those softs, unless they feel good. And Jordan just had some kind of issue that, or he just wanted to get out of that train, which is perfectly reasonable in and of itself. So Baraka has cut Mentos' lead to 1.2 seconds now. Sorry, go on, Dylan.
Yeah, sorry, I was about to say that as well, that Baraka's closing up to the back of Mantos, and Lyronix is still stuck behind, and he's the third car in the DRS train, and though being the third car in the DRS train, it's incredibly difficult to overtake the cars ahead, because Knuffel Bessie now has DRS on Iwan, and that basically defends him from Lyronix behind. But you can probably see now already that Lyronix, with those medium tires, probably doesn't have overheating problems, and the cars ahead seem to struggle a little bit more on traction and corner speed, and Knuffel Bessie is using a lot of overtake to close up to the back of Iron Baker, but just doesn't have the exit to get past Iron Baker, and he is on 10% ERS right now, and Iron's on 30.
He goes very wide in turn 4. That'll give Lyronix, it'll keep him interested at least. And just say Brent as well, well, he's not closing in massively, but he's certainly getting interested in this fight. And so with extra rotation struggling, having that poor first lap, Lyronix will be hoping for, he'll be hoping he's in a better position than this. Getting stuck behind this off-runners is not what he needs when his championship rival is down at the back, and Killer Brent picking up a time penalty. So
yeah, and extra rotation is quite far behind those cars ahead, but yeah, Lyronix, you can probably tell by now in the third sector, especially in the third sector at least, you can see he has way better grip and close enough to the back of both cars ahead, but just because the Knuffel Bessie has the... Oh, they both entered the pits, and I think Iron Baker cut the pit lane entry as well to stay ahead.
Sorry,
And
just to say, Baraka here for the lead on Mentos. And that wasn't very dramatic at all. Straightforward textbook DRS move for Baraka, and he moves into the lead on those mediums. He is in a juicy position right now, and it's freed up Lyronics as well, of course, with those three pitting. And
so
Ruffle
Lyronics really has to
Beezy.
push now.
Oh, that just glitched. Looked like he was getting held then for me, but yeah. So these guys, well, they've got a tyre advantage now. They've got to make the most of it because, of course, Lyronics is going to be on those fresh softs at the end, those fresh sticky softs. But as Lyronics got the pace to overcut them, even on older tyres, that is the question. They're only 6 laps older. Tyre wear isn't to the same effect on 25% as it is on 50%. That's why we're seeing guys doing soft medium and not soft hard. But I wonder if he can overcut these guys. We know he's obviously one of the quicker guys being in the championship battle. He has got to floor it now, and he's got to hope that Mentos does not get in his way anytime soon.
Yeah, and Mentos is already out of the DRS range of Baraka, and he enters the pits now. Lap 7, he enters the pits, and it's good still for Mentos. He will come out ahead of Ivan, I believe. And again, this has freed up Lyronics now, and he really has to close up time to Baraka ahead. And it's going to be very interesting to see if he can actually close up to the back of Baraka. He was held up behind Knuffelbessie and Iron Baker. Now he's freed of those cars ahead, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can show his pace. And
sorry, Mentos and Iron Baker is going to be very close, but Mentos, I think he timed that perfectly as he comes out just ahead as rotation makes the overtake on Jordan T as well. But Jordan T is going to fight this back through the inside of Turn 3. And I think he saw himself heading straight for a collision with rotation's side pod there and thought, no thank you.
Tries to go around the outside in turn 5 on Iron Baker. That could be a good move. He gets a good traction, plus on overtake, maybe stay ahead, but Iron Baker just gets just a better exit.
Just wants to stay on the outside, force Iron Baker to take the tyre angle.
And she's washed down by the dirty air, and Iron Baker stays ahead.
Weaving down straight there. I don't think he was happy with Knuffelbeezy's driving there as he weaved his way down towards turn 10. Lyronics' gap last lap was 3.2, it's now 2.9, so he is quicker than Baraka. The gap to Mentos as well, obviously the important thing is he going to overcut these guys. 18.5 at the moment, we'll just see how that evolves over the next lap.
I don't know the thing Delta, but it's going to be very interesting to see if actually those two ahead could overcut Mentos and Iron Baker and Bassi. So it's going to be very, very interesting to monitor that. And Lyronics, I believe, is a little bit quicker than Shalom, but will he have enough laps to close the gap and make the overtake? Might be worth it for him to make an undercut attempt on him and try and close that gap.
I just said that gap to Mentos was 18.5 seconds, it's now 18.0. I'm not sure this is working, but I think Lyronics is going to have to take the pain and hope he can overtake these guys on softs as rotation picks up his second penalty of the evening, sorry.
Yeah, but you can tell that Lyronics is closing to the back of Mentos. He's 4/10 quicker that lap, so he is quicker, but he needs, I think, a little bit more time to close up to the back of Shalom. And I guess the pit window is now open for these medium runners. They might see them enter the pits in the next couple of laps.
I think for as long as Lyronics feels like he's got enough of a margin to Iron Baker, but of course the risk is Mentos, Iron Baker, Knuffelbeezy, those guys are split by just over a second. If Lyronics stays out one extra lap, he could very easily lose 3 places that he wouldn't otherwise lost if he'd pitted the lap before. He has got to get this right, and he's got to make sure he doesn't stay out a lap longer than he needs to, because I think it could cost him. He could go from staying in second to losing 3 places to Mentos, Iron Baker and Knuffelbeezy if he gets it wrong.
Yeah, making a move in that situation would be incredibly difficult, of course. Even though he has the soft tires, the cars ahead will have DRS, and Jordan has spun it in turn 8 and turn 7 in the chicane, and he is retired from this race, unfortunately.
And Leon has had a trip through the gravel, sorry, just to jump on board with him to see Jordan's crash. But... oh, and Leon spins in the exact same place and has lost his front link.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but now Ivan Baker is closing up to the back of Mentos and he's looking for a move, and he looks like he breezes past the AlphaTauri driver, and he's now into P3. If these guys battle, that could help out Ironics ahead, could potentially overcut these groups.
Well, Ironics is stretching that gap out again a little bit, so it was 18.1, it's now 18.4. And he is closing on Baraka as well, so it is going to be tight whether he overcuts these guys.
Yeah, and you could maybe see him enter the pits this lap and attempt an undercut on Baraka, but yeah, it's going to be... If he gets out behind those three drivers, then for him to make an overtake is going to be incredibly difficult. Even though he has those fresh softs, it's still really difficult. And they both enter the pits, Shalom and Ironics enter the pits at the same time. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be very crucial to the race to see where Ironics and Shalom come out when they exit the pits. Are they going to come out ahead of Ivan Baker and Mentos? It's going to be very interesting to see.
We're riding aboard with Nufflebeezy down the straight. The back of this train is going to be close, but I think all three of them are going to comfortably get it. It's going to be close with Baraka.
Oh, they touch.
Baraka and Mentos come to blows. Nufflebeezy will be having a look on his teammate now. Oh, and what happened there with Lyronics and Nufflebeezy? I just saw Nufflebeezy turn out of turn 3. Didn't look like there was any contact with Lyronics, but there was clearly something happening because he dived out of the way.
Yeah, now because of that, Iwan is 1.5 seconds ahead of Mentos, and this basically helps Shalom because now Mentos ahead. It's a little bit out of shape, but Mentos doesn't have DRS, so it's going to be easier for Shalom to make this move done, on Mentos, and with
Shalom has a lot of errs as well. Just to point out, 62%, just 13 for Mentos. Mentos 13, 64 for Baraka. Got that all muddled then.
With that situation that just happened in turn 1, Lyronics is now onto the back of Shalom, so we could see a battle between those two as well once they overtake AlphaTauri.
And Beezy has wing damage as well.
Baker spun. Baker spun out.
Baker spun from the lead, and just behind them, here comes extra rotation on Nufflebeezy.
Oh, Lyronics goes for a dive, and yeah, that was...
And Lyronics is spun as well. Sorry everybody that we're missing all this, so much is going on. We're not missing all of it, we're missing some of it, but... So...
Yeah, Lyronics went off for a dive on Mentos. Yeah, a desperate move, and yeah, there wasn't enough space, and Mentos just turned into the corner, and all of a sudden Lyronics was there, and he got caught out because of it. And he doesn't have wing damage, so he still has a chance to maybe get P3 at this point in the race. But yeah, it's just...
Sorry, Shalom's just got a penalty, just to point that out. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, but... maybe...
I imagine Shalom would get that 3-second gap to Mentos, and I think Mentos has a 3-second time penalty as well. So
I know extra rotation has 2. We've not even mentioned him, and he's found himself in 3rd place all of a sudden from being 11th on the first lap. But Lyronics, I think for him, that was just a case of he saw the race wind slipping away from him perhaps, and he felt the need to get something done. But if we just take stock, be one sec, it's Baraka first. He now has brand new softs and he has a 2.7 second lead. He's pulling out rapidly, 2.9 already. Extra rotation in 3rd, but we know he has 2 penalties. The guys ahead of him have 1, I believe. Nufflebeezy in 4th. He's kind of picked his way through that without too much trouble, but he's been right in the middle of this train all race. Lyronix is right behind him in 5th after that half spin. Killer Brent 6th, Rappy 7th, would have been race leader. Iron Baker now in the pits in 8th, and Leon, I nowhere, has been nowhere all race in 9th, and Brack already now over 3 seconds ahead. I think, barring any Iron Baker type bottles, he's got this one in the bag, not to tempt fate. But
yeah, I think so.
Extra rotations spun at turn 12. Nufflebeezy and Lyronix through. He's lost out to his championship rival there. And we've seen a lot of individual errors today. It's so not something you expect from a guy at the top.
Lyronix is probably going to get past Nufflebeezy right now. Uses the DRS, uses his overtake. And yeah, he breezes past the Haas driver who has wing damage. But yeah, on extra rotation, just spinning out of turn 11 or 12, I believe.
But he's got a huge run on Nufflebeezy. He's got wing damage himself. And
yeah,
I think he
gets ahead.
Squeezed Nufflebeezy a little bit there, but it is Astro on the outside, so there's no harm done. But yeah, I think Rotational feeling pretty annoyed at himself right now.
Yeah, it does have those 2 seconds or 6 seconds of time penalties, and Leon spins and retires ahead of him. Nufflebeezy, all he has to do is just stay within 6 seconds of extra rotation. He could still pick up 4th place. With that wing damage, that he will be disappointed because he was fighting for basically a race win with Iron Baker, but yeah, he'll take P4.
No warnings for no penalties for Nufflebeezy. Just the one warning for Lyronix. Rotation has 2 penalties, goes very wide there towards the last corner. I think the top 3, 2 laps to go, looks pretty much wrapped up, wouldn't you say? Baraka, Mentos, Lyronix.
Yeah, big gaps between those 3 drivers as well. So even if someone gets a penalty, I don't think anything will change up the order.
So Baraka's been very impressive this race. Been hugely impressed with what I've seen from him. He's looked calm, controlled, and he's picked his way through the madness that unravelled a few laps ago.
Yeah, and he stayed out of trouble, kept his cool, of course. Yeah, he has driven an incredible race, and of course, with those medium tires,
penalty for Lyronix. That makes things interesting.
That is quite interesting, but I don't think Nufflebeezy will gain anything from it.
Nufflebeezy has the tyres to make inroads.
So we're almost going to start the final lap of the race now. Baraka's leading 5.8 seconds is the gap, and extra rotation picks up this 3rd time penalty, 9 seconds now.
So I think that confirms Nufflebeezy will get 4th unless he himself picks up a penalty.
Yeah, and Killer Brent might actually. I don't know if Killer Brent has a penalty, but
he has one, I think.
He is 5 seconds behind Killer Brent right now, and if he keeps within 6 seconds of extra rotation, he could get P5, and extra rotation would go down to 6th position. That would help Lyronix a lot in his championship battle.
I think Nufflebeezy is just doing enough, really, with that wing damage. But Killer Brent is catching him big time.
Yeah, it's going to be very close between extra rotation and Killer Brent, I believe, on penalties. And Nufflebeezy just picks up the time penalty. So, yeah, all he has to do is stick within 6 seconds, and it's 4.3 right now with 1 sector left to go.
But through it all, nearly missing the end of the race again, but Baraka wins comfortably and with a champion's drive for Mentos, who's, I have to say, been quite quiet as well at the front of that. Again, he's one of those guys that picked his way through it. Lyronix will be kicking himself for that half spin that cost him at least 2nd place. Nufflebeezy spins his way across the line, he takes 4th. Killebrand 5th, rotation down in 6th, 3 places behind his championship rival. And we'll just wait for Rappy and Ironbaker, who threw away that win with that mistake earlier on out of the last corner. That wasn't the last corner, was it? Where was it? Sorry, Ironbaker.
It was the last corner.
Oh, it was the last corner, yeah. I'd love to see his point of view from that, if he dipped it and wheel in the gravel, or if he just got on the power too soon, but really unfortunate for him.
It was quite a ways away from the traction zone of final corner, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, but he finishes the race in 8th, I believe.
And with 3 wheels.
And with 3 wheels, yes, and yeah, that was quite an interesting race to say the least.
Very, very much so. The driving gives us plenty of entertainment, considering we've only had 13 runners in Monaco and 12 runners here. We've seen a lot of incident, a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing, and a lot of, well, dubious decisions, shall we say. A few crashes, a few shenanigans, but most importantly, it did not disappoint. And congrats to Baraka for what was a fabulous win.
Yeah, and Mentos, to be honest. He after Monaco, he drove a brilliant race here in Spain, and yeah, came on P2, which is quite a good result for him. So I imagine he'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, he certainly turned it around from what happened at Monaco. Who's your driver of the 2 races? You got?
To be honest, I'm gonna go with Baraka.
Yeah, I have to agree.
His Monaco race wasn't as good as his Spain race, but Spain was just incredible. Just being calm. It looks like he learned from his Monaco mistakes basically, but when trying to overtake Bryn and Ironics, I believe, and he just kept patient here in Spain and made the moves when it mattered. And yeah, I think
particularly, yeah, I have to agree. Particularly when those around him were making mistakes. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Thank you to Dylan for jumping in at the last moment to commentate with me. Otherwise, you had to listen to me do it by myself, which no one wants to hear.
I enjoyed commentating. It was quite fun today, and yeah, I like the company doing it with you. And thank you to everyone who was raced today.
Oh, thank you, a pleasure.
That into the stream.
Thank you. Hopefully see you all next week, if I'm around. Cheers, see you later guys.